Boobaes! Well, hi.
Oh, hello, and welcome to
Boobaes!
Boobaes.
That's right.
That's right. That is right. We're your hosts.
Who are
I'm
you?
Caitlin. I'm
And
Caitlin.
I'm Joshua.
And Goopy just said meow. Meow.
Wait, give me your best meow.
Oh, she is. I think she sees a bird. She's going meow, meow.
What about, give me your best meow, Caitlin. Ooh.
Oh, did you hear her?
Yeah, I heard her, so I'm sure everybody else heard her. She's so cute.
She's talking to the. I think there's a birdie out there.
Meow. No.
That was good.
Meow. 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 No, that's Blue's Clues. My bad.
Blue's Clues.
Meow. 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 Can we just do the rest of the podcast and cat talk?
Or like that, you know, that dog, that wow, 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 hapapa, hapapa, I love
People
that dog.
are turning off this episode as we speak right now. They're like, we're gonna skip this week.
First off, this isn't a horror movie. Second, y'all are only talking like the dog from the little cloud YouTube video.
And this is a horror movie because to the Midwest and to the poor people who have lost their lives to an F5 or any below tornado, yeah, this is a true American nightmare.
It's one of mine. We have been having a series of storms recently in Texas, and I'm sure Oklahoma as well, but we both live in Texas, so
yeah, boo, tomato, sorry. Anyways,
yeah, and I'm pretty sure my house got hit by a tornado, a small one. Maybe it didn't touch the ground, but the trees were all twisted up.
Yeah.
And I woke up, the tornado sirens were going off, and
that's scary.
The lightning was purple and green and like electric, like neon blue. It was like lighting up all sorts of different colors, and it was like illuminating the whole room. And I was like, I was freaking out.
Die.
Yeah, I was like, Andrew, we need to go get in the bathroom. Like, we need to get under the mattress. Like, we need to go. And he was like, it's fine. Go back to bed. And I was like, it's not fine. The sirens are going off.
Sucked away right now.
I know. We're in the suck zone.
The suck zone. Yeah, dude, it's pretty terrifying. I remember one time I had to been like 8 or 9. We had a really bad storm. And I remember there was a tornado and it hit off of like Orchard Lane or something. It had to been like 06, 07. I don't know. But I remember that one like storm like really like traumatized me. And like for probably like 5 years after that, I wanted to be a meteorologist and was like, but not because I was like actually had any interest really. I mean, it's cool to learn about like weather actually. But it was more of like, kind of like Joe in this movie. Like, it was more like, I need to learn everything about that shit because that's terrifying. And like, I do not want to die by a tornado. Yeah.
It is terrifying. You can't control it.
Yeah.
At all, which is
you can't
like,
control much in life, but
you really can't control these.
Not many things are whirling. What is it? Like, I'm going to look it up right now.
Cows.
If you keep talking.
The 18-wheeler full of petroleum that it threw at them. That was terrifying.
I know,
I was not a fan of that.
I was like, to figure out. So it's F5. An F5 tornado is 261 to 318 miles per hour winds.
Yeah.
That's like pretty wild.
And they can be up to like a mile wide.
Yeah, especially at the end in this one. Like, can you imagine the levels of devastation that brings? That's crazy.
Yeah, like whenever they panned out at the ending and they panned out of the field and stuff, you just saw like this, like it looked like, you know, like you know how slugs leave that, like, slime trail?
Yes.
It was like that, but through
Yeah.
the dirt, and it was just all, like, fucked up in that, like, mile-wide trail that it went on.
Yeah, it's really devastating because like it happens so fast too, in a matter of minutes everything is fine and then it's not because your roof is gone and all of your, property is destroyed. Because there was that tornado in Temple a few weeks ago and had a friend show me pictures and like it was pretty bad. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
my friend had her window smashed through.
Yeah. Like yeah, so that just goes to show you that there's like so many different levels of like horror and like what we consider to be scary and like you know what I mean? Like it's not always just a demon or a ghost or a slasher. It's also the devastating forces of the world that we live in. So
Nature. Yeah,
nature.
like big tsunamis and stuff too,
Yeah.
also terrifying.
I was just watching and not a horror movie, but kind of a horror movie, Interstellar the other day. You've seen it,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
Dude, the planet with the waves, and they were like massively just like I couldn't like what? That's crazy.
That
That's
is
crazy because
crazy.
like obviously, I mean, even in a pool, but like like you've been to the ocean, right? You know that like the force of those waves when they like take you and you're just like
They can
yeah,
hit you like a ton of bricks sometimes.
literally, yeah. It's so powerful. It's beautiful and it's scary at the same time.
Yeah,
But
especially when they get up to be like three-story building tall and
oh
stuff.
yeah, you can't really do anything at that point.
Mm.
Or at any point, honestly, I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, 1996 Twister, disaster thriller film directed by Jan D. Bont. Um,
Jan de Bont.
yeah, and it is from a screenplay by Michael Crichton, who's also did Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
and it was produced by him and Kathleen Kennedy and Ian Bryce, Steven Spielberg, like a bunch of like big time names are attached to this actually, which is pretty interesting. Um, and yeah, it has Helen Hunt.
Bill
What is it?
Paxton,
Mhm.
Carrie Eulis,
Uh-huh.
Eulis.
Jamie Gertz. And it's a bunch of storm chasers chasing some tornadoes in Oklahoma. And it's pretty cool because it was released in theaters on it's not I guess not really cool, but it was released on May 10th. Um, and kind of hits close to home. Maybe we'll bring it in the fun facts later, but like here, because Waco had a pretty severe tornado happen in 1951, but it was on May
Yeah.
11th. It was on May 11th, so which is also my birthday. Um, but
Oh, also, I did not realize Philip Seymour Hoffman was Dusty.
oh yeah, that's how long how long ago it was and how different he looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks so much younger and like yeah, no. I get what you mean. I mean that makes sense because it was
Well, looked.
96. I suppose, yeah. But yeah, that's him.
I did not realize that Dusty was Philip Seymour. He looked very familiar, but
Uh-huh.
definitely doesn't look like the Philip Seymour Hoffman that
That
I know
knew of. Yeah.
knew of. Yeah,
Rest in peace.
exactly.
Um,
Carrie Eulis was. How do you say his last name?
I don't know how to say that, honestly. Ools or Ules, I don't know. But
Eulis?
I would say and maybe it's Elwes.
Elwes.
I don't know.
Well, he was in The Princess Bride, right? He was
Yeah.
the
Well,
the prince.
to be H with you, I've never seen The Princess Bride, but I just clicked his name on
Oh,
that thing, and yes, he was in The Princess Bride.
I
Robin
love The Princess
Hood.
Bride.
He was in Saw. Remember, he's Doctor, the Doctor in Saw.
Oh,
He's literally the main dude in Saw.
he is?
Yeah, he's the one that Doctor what's his face that Jigsaw is like he has him tied chained up, handcuffed by the ankle.
When he cuts his foot off?
Yeah, that's
Wow, he
him.
looks a lot different in that. I guess he's older.
Yeah. hmm Um, but yeah. I don't. I guess so. Yeah, because he plays Jonas. But also because in this film he has dark hair. Where in well, I guess he also had dark hair in that in Saw too. Did he? No, I feel like
He
he was
was
more
blonde.
blonde. Was he not? Yeah, he was more
Yeah,
blondie. Yeah, yeah. So that's probably
he's
why.
blonde in
And
this too,
is that
ish.
blonde? I thought it was like sandy blonde, brown. I don't know.
I would still consider it to be blonde, but
Mm,
I don't know. But yeah, so lots of big names in this. We start off. Are we ready to jump in?
I'm ready for it.
Okay, we start off with start inside like a tornado kind of thing,
Hmm.
and we get a very simple title card that just says Twister.
They kind
I
of
like the
blow in.
simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just kind of blows away, and then we get some diegesis that says June 1969,
Hmm.
and then the bridge that they pan over. I'm pretty sure I've driven on that bridge.
Oh, really? In
Yeah,
Oklahoma?
it's in Oklahoma. That's where my stepdad's family is from. So
Mm.
we've been to Oklahoma a lot, especially when my great grandma was still alive.
Mhm.
We would go up there to visit her. Also, my great grandma was buried in a pink casket. How dope is that?
That's pretty dope. Grandma's
I'm
pretty
like,
badass. Did she
I
choose
want to be
that?
like her. Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That
She
sounds
made
pretty
quilts
specific.
too.
Oh,
She was
do
a
you have
quilter.
any?
No, but my stepdad does.
Mm.
I have
Quilting is such
quilts,
a
but they're
art.
not from her.
Quilting is such an art.
Yeah, it is.
I had a
It
neighbor when I
takes so
was
long.
younger who would make quilts for like her family members and like all these people. Hmm. I used to pretend she was my grandma.
Oh,
I would
that's
be
so
like,
sweet.
yeah, her and Bob and Pat. And I'd go over and be like, hey, grandma, hey, grandpa. Like, I'm going to play grandma, play grandpa.
Uh,
But I would call her, you're my white grandma, you're my white grandpa. Because they were white. And they would
that's
always
funny.
she would always bake me cookies and she would have candy for me. They would always have candy corn.
Oh,
And
yum.
and she would clip out like my AB honor rolls and stuff from like the paper and all that stuff and collect them.
Aw,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
so sweet. She
a
was
few
like a
years.
little grandma.
Oh yeah, a few years ago she had my mom come by and like she gave her like a little folder of stuff I did not remember, like all these drawings and little colored things of like literally like they were my grandparents. Yeah.
Aw, that's so sweet. I love it. That is really sweet.
Yeah.
Um, but
Oh, we
yeah, then we've got a storm rolling in.
mhm.
We've got a guy who we later find out is Joe's dad, kind of
Yeah.
watching the TV, standing up, and then seeing that there's a tornado warning. And we then get a mom waking up Joe, young Joe,
Yeah, little
and
baby.
taking her down to the storm cellar. They're like, we got to get to the storm cellar quick. And then they
Yeah,
almost leave Toby, the
the
dog.
poor Toby, they shut him out. And then she's like, Toby's out there. And I love how the person on the news, the dude is like, don't go save your family. It's too late for them.
Yeah.
You need to save yourselves.
Yeah.
um and so
Don't go out
yeah,
there. There's no helping them now.
yeah, they get to their storm cellar and it's pretty intense because this tornado, which is how I guess we can say now it's an F5, so it's just really massive and severe. And
The largest a tornado can be.
yep, and the dad, which honestly, I don't think he needed to hold on to that. I think they would have been fine down there because I don't think it would have, you know what I mean? If they, because it didn't take the mom or
Yeah,
the little
or Joe.
girl or Toby, and Toby is literally like 8 pounds.
Yeah, little tiny
So,
baby. So he probably could
so
have lived.
yeah, I just think that was poor choices on his part, unfortunately. But we would have never got the rest of the movie if that didn't happen. So
Yeah,
Joe's
because this
dad
is what
dies.
Joe's dad, he gets sucked up into the tornado. You just
Really
see his
was
little body go
gnarly.
whoop.
Yeeted out, yeah.
Yeah, and so this is what
Prompted her.
prompted her to become a storm chaser and a scientist on meteorologist kind of
Yeah.
scientist thing. They tend to shit on the meteorologists, like, when Bill later becomes a weatherman.
Yeah, they're
They're
more
like,
like, I guess, storm chasers, just I guess, yeah. But,
yeah,
isn't that a thing, like, what is the storm chaser not essentially a meteorologist?
yeah, I don't know. And we're probably offending so many people right now.
I'm literally
um,
gonna look it up.
but you know that Andrew sent me something today that with all these storms in Texas, people are paying $2,000 to $5,000 to be taken around by storm chasers and like get close to tornadoes.
They have too much money that they don't know what to do with it, to be
Yeah.
honest, because why would you wanna do that? I mean, I get that they're cool. No, I totally get that. It's kinda cool to wanna see it up close and all that, but I mean, like
No.
but also
I don't wanna be
not
nowhere
paying
near 'em.
well, I mean, I guess you wouldn't to me, it's like
I'm Melissa in this film. I want to be far away
you wanna
from
be
him.
out. How should I say that? I'm trying to think of, like, the way to word it, but it's more like I wouldn't pay thousands of dollars to put my life in danger in death's way. Like, maybe, like, pay me $5,000 and, yeah, I'll go in there, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? But, like, not the other way around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just seems a bit cray cray.
it
But
does.
yeah,
What's the difference
um,
between a meteorologist and a
I right now, I'm gonna have to really, really, like
deep dive?
yeah, because it didn't all I got was
Well, storm
just
chasers could just be crazy people.
anybody, right? Just chasing
Yeah,
a storm,
and a
yeah.
meteorologist is someone who's actually studied the weather, and it's like a
Exactly. That's
scientist of
exactly
weather.
so really, like, the storm chasers are the shit. Oh, I'm so sorry, storm chasers. No, I didn't mean that. No, 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 no. I meant
Oh, I
like,
thought you
y'all
said "are the shit."
no, I did. They are the shit because they do such cool things. They really do. They really do. With no degree or a knowledge of what I mean, with all the experience in the world to back it up. Because that's what they have is field experience, and maybe not a lot of meteorologists literally meteorologists probably don't have that field experience. They're just learned by
Sure.
the book, you know, and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure.
It's like me. I have no degree, but I have a bunch of field experience.
Well, literally me, I'm literally unqualified to talk about anything, and here we are just giving our opinions.
Yeah, same.
So let's just keep going.
I've never taken a film class in my life.
Well, I at least took one.
Yeah, not me.
But only this past semester. So, and we are, yeah, Joe's dad is deady, good gone by. So now we're in the present day,
The place is
and
fucking leveled
yeah,
from
oh, it
that
was,
F5.
oh yeah, yeah. We got to see like a nice pan out shot, sh- uh, whatever shot of the damage that happens after the F5 tornadoes,
Yeah,
and I'm sure
but
just
then we're
like
present day, like you said. Sorry.
yeah. No, you're good, and then we're in the was like the National Storm something laboratory.
National Severe Storm Laboratory,
There we go, and
NSSL.
there
And that weather,
mhm,
that satellite, it looked
mhm,
so fake.
it's
That was the
actually
only part of this film that didn't age very well.
I will there was another part, I don't was it the it was I think when they were coming out of the house that didn't look I mean, obviously, it's not real, right? But I was like, "Oh, yeah, that looks so fake," but that
When they
satellite for
drive out
sure
of the house?
yeah, when they're in it, it's good. It's when they come out of it, and it looked fake to me, ish.
Oh,
But watch this have been an actual practical stunt. They
yeah.
literally probably drove through a house.
That house just rolled over the road. It was wild. Um,
Mhm.
but yes, so present day, we're in the NSSL, and then they're talking about some storms, but then we very quickly flash to we're with Bill, played by
Mhm.
Bill.
Literally. Not too much of a reach there.
Nope. Bill
And
Harding, played by Bill Paxton.
yeah. And he shows up because shows up with Melissa, who is his girlfriend, and he's showing up because and well, they're talking about how Joe needs to sign some divorce papers so that way his and hers marriage can be dissolved and finalized and divorced. And
Null and void.
null and void. Yeah. And then Melissa's, kind of like asking, like, well, do you think like she's gonna even sign the papers? And he's like, yeah, she's gonna sign the papers, like, no problem. But they end up getting there. And we see that like we cut to Joe and she's setting up satellite radar thing.
Yeah, she's
Hmm.
working on some sort of radar on the top of the van, and then we're kind of going through meeting each member of the crew. The
Hmm.
only member of the crew that I really got their name was Dusty and then Rabbit.
Yeah, those was literally because they mentioned those a lot, the most out of anybody.
Yeah, because once they get there, they first come across Dusty, and he leaves
Hmm.
Melissa with Dusty, which is
Yeah.
like a
Why would he do that?
bad. Why? Yeah, why would you do that? Because that's the other thing is that Philip Seymour Hoffman feels like such a respectable character, like
Hmm.
man, and then he was
Hmm.
playing this like total teenager.
Yeah, like really gnarly dude, and like not even that, just very uh like from
Like a
Workaholics.
horn dog kind of, but like
Like he inspired Workaholics. You know what I mean? The show. Have you ever seen
yeah,
that show? Kind
I've
of to me
seen
vibe.
episodes of it.
Kind of like that vibe to me. But yeah, I he probably shouldn't have left her with him on first introduction.
He just holds her hand. He walks away with her holding her hand the whole time. He like never lets go of it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so weird. But yeah, we are there. We're meeting the different members of the crew. Rabbit is like, don't fold the maps. You got to
Hmm.
roll them. There's a big line through Arkansas right now, or Kansas, or something.
Yeah. And then
Arkansas.
Arkansas. And then they're all kind of looking at Bill like kind of surprised to see him a little bit. And they're like, oh, and they keep saying, you're back. And he's like, I'm not back. And then
I'm not
he
back.
gets up to the truck where Joe's at, or van type of thing. And that's whenever she's kind of deflecting a lot. She's not focusing on what she knows he's actually there for. I mean, she obviously knows. And she's
Yeah,
bringing
she's
up,
definitely skirting around the issue, brushing around it, trying not to. She's like, oh, anything but the divorce papers.
yeah. And that's whenever I think she brings up Melissa, but she calls her Miranda or something like that. Uh,
Yeah.
or
She's like,
no,
are you sure there wasn't?
a Miranda before her, something like that.
Yeah. And he's
But
like, no, there's only been you. It's Melissa since you.
yeah, and she's only bringing that up. I forget because she's like, "What's the rush in signing the papers? You aren't getting married or something, are you?" And he's like, yeah, I actually am. So this is not just his girlfriend; it's his fiance."
Yep.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then we see that she's still wearing her wedding ring.
Yeah.
She moves a ring to her different finger to kind of hide. It looked like a class ring or something that she moved to her left ring finger to hide her wedding band. Um, and then she's like, well, they're kind of talking, and he's like, well, you got the papers, like, we need to go. And she's like, she's here. And
Mhm.
then he's like, yeah, I left her with Dusty. And she's like, you left her with Dusty? And she's like, well, that's not, why would you do that? So they run off
Oh, yeah, she's like, "I wanna
over
meet
to
her."
meet her.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, look at this. You got a new job, new truck, new wife. Like, it's a whole new you.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love how too she kinda called him out when, they were talking about her, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, not much for browsing, are you?"
Hmm.
And here she comes again deflecting Joe, and she brings up Dorothy because Dorothy is right there. And
Yeah.
is it because Bill sees her? No, she just brings it up. She's like, "Oh, yeah, you gotta see this." It's like, "I'm glad you came."
Yeah. She's like, it's about Dorothy. Dorothy.
Yeah.
And she says she's here. And he's like, what? And she was like, thought you'd want to be here for first time out. It wouldn't be right if you weren't, kind of thing. Um, and
Yeah.
then he's kind of in awe going around looking at Dorothy. And Melissa comes up and
And
she's
she was
like,
like,
what?
What is
"What is
that?
that?" Yeah.
Mhm.
"What is that?" And then the sensors he's basically explaining that the sensors go up inside a tornado and can increase they'll read the, like, all the specs of the tornado, and it
Oh,
can
yeah.
hopefully help increase warning times from 3 minutes to 15 minutes.
Which is a significant jump in time. Those 13 minutes probably make a difference in saving someone's life. Is that right? 12 minutes, my bad. The way I cannot count. But yeah,
Neither can
and
I.
Melissa
I was
and
willing
Melissa
to agree with you.
Melissa's just she's like, oh, she doesn't seem that impressed to BH. She's kind of like, okay, well, can we sign the
Yeah,
papers?
yeah,
But she is nice though. She is very cordial. I will say, out of all of this, Melissa's like, I guess because she's a therapist. I don't know. Maybe she by the end of this was just thinking, I'm an idiot. I need to leave. But
yeah, which is what I mean, I think she did
yeah,
do
yeah,
once she
and
saw them interact a bit, because
yeah,
she called Joe out on her shit immediately, like, in that cafe,
and
she
the
was like, "You're
diner.
still in love with him." Yeah, and she's like, "I no, I'm not." Gets all defensive and
Yeah,
she deflects again. I don't think she gets defensive, but
yeah,
she's like, "No." And they go on. But yeah, and then we get Dusty coming in again and he's being creepy. He's like the suck zone and like whispers it in her ear kind of thing.
yeah.
And it was like, Dusty, no, that's
It's
creepy.
a bit much for meeting someone on the first time and they don't know your personality and all that. And
Yeah.
even
You're
then,
being
it's just a much.
yeah, probably crossing some boundaries.
Um,
Um, but
mhm.
then it's tornado chasing time.
Yep, because we
And
get an alert. We need to go now.
everyone's rolling out like the Autobots. They
Hmm.
get up and they're ready to go. And then Melissa's the only one who's thinking straight because
Yeah,
Bill's like, woohoo, let's go. And then she's like, did she sign the papers? And he's like, oh shit. So
yeah.
let's catch up with them kind of thing.
Which
And
is going to be the death that the kiss of death to their relationship.
the nail in the coffin.
Literally, because the rest that happens just totally brings back Joe and Bill to each other slowly
Yep.
but surely. Yeah,
Not
and
even
they're
slowly. He abandons
not.
Melissa immediately. He's
That's
like,
pretty true.
Joe and I are going in the truck together.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I
I mean,
mean,
not
what?
quite yet,
I
but
mean, he's trying to protect her, I'm sure as well. Not put her like right in the first line of fire. But honestly, though, he obviously didn't care for Melissa as much because even like the times later with the water after the water spout scene and she's all freaked out and he just is all jumping with Joe for a while.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we have them going off. They're trying to catch up with him, and then we see Jonas is on the road, and they end up kind of uh, cruising up next to them. And is this whenever Hmm.
They say
what's
he's in it
Joe?
for the money, not the science, and he doesn't have
Yeah,
instincts, and he doesn't have Dorothy.
they're laying down a lot of heavy smack about Jonas.
Yeah,
And then
which is gonna be his downfall later when he doesn't have the instinct.
yeah, very true. And they end up it's just they almost run into one of Jonas's trucks or drivers, right?
Yeah, they run him off
Yeah,
the road. They ran Bill
yeah,
off the road
that's
and,
what it is.
like,
And they pop a
make
tire.
his tire pop, and pull over to they all stop at, like, a little rest stop that has a tire shop and a cafe and stuff,
Mhm,
and, basically then we see this interview with Jonas,
mhm.
and he's stolen Bill's idea and design for the Dot 3.
What a loser.
Yeah,
Like,
literally even as, like, Dorothy almost,
yeah,
with it
no,
being Dot.
literally so close. And then like it's all subtle differences that he's made to just kind of make it almost seem like it's his, but it's not.
Yeah, it's got, like
Cubes instead of spheres for the little things, right?
yes.
Hmm.
Sorry, I got a
Hmm.
text message that, like, someone was getting married, but it says Rachel and Andrew, and I'm like, "Who's Rachel and Andrew?"
Who's marrying my boyfriend?
I know.
Could you
Oh,
imagine?
my cousin. It's my
Ah,
fucking cousin.
that's cute.
I forgot that
You have a
she's
cousin?
yeah, I forgot that I have a cousin. No, I forgot that her boyfriend or now fiance is now named Andrew. Now named is it's always named Andrew.
I was about to say, what happened? When did he change his name, giving protective services? Ow. Do your nails hurt? Or, like, do you ever when you take fake nails off or whatever, does it hurt your real
Yeah.
nails? Or do they feel, like, kind of tender after?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, that's normal then. Okay, and then, we have freaking because obviously Bill is like, "Oh, no, that's my shit." He goes over and immediately starts to confront Jonas, and I guess Joe already knew about Jonas doing this because she's trying to, like, warn and stop Bill and be like, "Don't do it, don't go over there." But Bill goes over there and honestly just, like, it's on sight, like, just pulls him over and just, like, got him by the shirt and is just like, "How dare you?" And he's laying it on him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he even brings up a like low blow because he's like
Oh,
something about weatherman,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that pisses off Bill even more. And so then he like Joe's already tried to defuse the situation, but he is like now like even more pissed.
Yeah.
And so he's like trying to get in there again. And then finally they're able to separate them. Um, and then this is where I was like, I guess it's bad to be a meteorologist. I don't get
Yeah.
it. Um, but at
I
least
think it'd
it's
give you
like
more
steady
credibility.
work and yeah, it could give you more credibility and it's a steady paycheck and
I don't know.
you're
I'd like
get
to
to
be
be
a
famous.
weatherman. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody
Andy
loves the
Anderson.
weatherman. Who hates the weatherman?
Not me.
I don't. Yeah. And so weatherman's just bringing facts. You know what I mean? Like weatherman's just laying it down. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd try to make jokes if I was a weatherman.
Yeah, I've seen some really clever weathermen or
But
weather people.
right, because it's not just men, Caitlin. Also weather theys
Weather theys,
and weather she's.
weather she's, weather humans.
There we go. And pretty soon weather AI,
Yeah, probably.
literally already happening. And then we have uh after all of those interactions happening, uh, what we're in the diner and Joe comes in and Jonas is trying to walk out, but then he's like trying to ask her for like basically help, essentially, like
Yeah, cuz
intel on the storms and stuff. And then he's also ragging on Bill
yeah, and then standing also like way too close
to
to
Melissa.
to Joe, I thought
Oh,
I thought he was like
oh,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
flirting with her a little bit
Oh, like yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you mean.
and I was like, "Boy, back off."
Yeah.
Um but then uh, he leaves basically and then um she's like classic Jonas, he never changes and Melissa's like, "What?" And she's like, "He's waiting to see what Bill does cuz he has no instinct." As Bill said earlier. And then this is where Melissa kind of out of left field is like,
You still love him.
"You still in love with him?" And both
Mhm.
Andrew and I went, "Oh damn," while
She
watching
don't
it.
play no games.
She didn't. She was like, "Let's get right to the point. You still love him."
I love
And
that.
then she goes, "Not that I blame you. I just hope this isn't some desperate attempt to keep him in your life." And I was like, "Oh, Dib's fighting words."
She's really saying like I'm the new one now. Like
Yeah,
you don't
you
have to
better
step
move
aside.
along. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And yeah, like you said, Joe is like skirting around it, just basically like, no, 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 like I'm not in love with him. But not doesn't even deny it really. And then at all. And then what Joe starts talking about Bill and how he's like a human barometer. or that
Yeah.
might have already happened, but yeah, um,
Yeah, I think that might have been what she said
all
right before.
all within the same conversation.
Yeah,
And then we're leaving the diner because, there's another storm.
and it's going green.
Mhm. What does that
Green
mean, Caitlin?
green skies mean tornado is on its way.
I
Green or
remember.
purple can be confusing because if it's nighttime,
Mhm.
but I believe purple skies can be an indicator of a tornado as well. But then, as we saw in this film, it could just be, oh my God, I thought your nail itself was pulling off Joshua. And I was like,
No, it's just, press on, my bad. Okay,
okay.
continue.
But yes. And so purple, green skies, green or what's mainly green or yellow too, like a
Mhm.
yellowish green can be a pretty bad sign that a tornado is it's tornado
Imminent.
conditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
I
where he leaves Melissa by herself and goes with Joe.
yes.
He leaves her in the car by herself and like he's like drive the truck. And I was like, girl, boy, she
He
never chased a
obviously
storm before.
he
Like,
has
why would
no
you leave her by
care,
herself?
'cause he doesn't care about Melissa, he doesn't. It's all eyes on Joe now at this point, and the
Yeah.
tornado, I guess, and Dorothy, but still. Um,
I hate blondes. Was that from Pearl?
oh, oh yeah, Pearl, mhm. And that's, we have them on Chasing the Storm, and
Or I
Joe and
guess it's
Bill
from
are.
X technically.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Sorry.
From old Pearl, and
Old
then
Pearl.
we have them, Joe and Bill, in the truck, and they're driving, and Bill can't drive for shit because him and Joe are basically arguing.
Mhm.
Because they're trying to
And
talk
Melissa
about.
can't drive either.
No,
Melissa
poor
behind
thing.
them, she forgot the lemonade on the car for starters. And then she was like, she was trying to answer the phone and she
Oh
was all
yeah,
over the road. She was like, boom, 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 and I was like, girl, can you drive?
yeah. Can you imagine? She's trying to speak to like a client of hers and trying to give therapy advice, and I mean, honestly, that
And she's needing therapy herself now because her fiance's ran off with his ex-wife
and she's chasing.
and she's
Not
chasing
only
him.
them, but a tornado.
A
And so
tornado.
they end up this whole all of it. Though I was thinking about it like before we were recording, and I was just like, they really like they that this movie is extra because not only are we chasing tornadoes, but they're throwing this like whole relationship drama into the mix of it all. Like that's crazy. It
The
really
love
is.
triangle.
It honestly really is a lot of drama. And so they're Joe and Bill almost end up crashing into like a tractor because he can't pay attention to the road. And then we have the guy, I don't know his name, being like, "Hey guys, can y'all like are y'all gonna wrap this up soon? Because I'd like to chase this tornado." And they're like, "Fuck!" And so they get off the road and get into a ditch. And also Jonas is following them, of course. Their party ends up showing up, and but Joe and Bill end up getting into a field, and then somehow they get themselves into a ditch, a gully type of thing. I don't know how to. It's like a. It's not a ditch because it's like a. It's for irrigation
Yeah,
for the water.
yeah,
The side
which
thing.
would be a ditch.
Is it a ditch? Okay,
Yeah,
a
but it's
long
like
ditch.
a long ditch and an intentional one,
Yeah.
that's been dug out, and, yeah, they were they had lots of funny, cute banter too in between. Like, their dynamic, you really get to see it in this scene as they're driving out and about and stuff, and, like, whenever she asks, "Can I drive?" And then she's like, "Then would you?" Because he's, like, driving off the road and stuff and almost hits
Hmm.
something before they get into the ditch. And then that's when we see the big ol' tornado there, and we
Yeah.
see it, like, suck up a house and just destroyed, like, this big house barn looking thing, I don't know.
Hmm.
But, it's I guess it was only what they say later is an F2, possibly an
Yeah.
F3. Um, oh, no, that one was an F2.
I think
And
it's an F2.
yeah, so not a tiny tornado, but kinda big,
It's still
and
a tornado.
they
Hmm.
are driving in that little ditch and they can't get out of it because it's too tall on either side. Like the truck is like almost under like it the walls of the ditch are like up to the passenger doors and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they can't get out of it. And so they run into this bridge thing and they get out of the car and they're which I was surprised the debris alone didn't kill them here.
But so many times in this movie where the debris should have killed them, I feel but
Yeah.
probably because of movie magic. But no, or yeah, their lives were literally in danger because especially with those winds, like anything becomes a projectile missile at that point.
Yeah. So fast
Hmm.
it just impales you.
Yeah.
And they are too close, they can't get away. They try to like get Dorothy out, but they can't do it.
Mhm.
And then fucking Joe, they get under the bridge and they like are holding on to the things, but then Joe's like, I want to see. And I'm
I
like,
want to
girl,
see it.
you don't
I
need to
feel.
see it. You've
I
seen
feel
one
like.
already. It sucked up your daddy.
Yeah. Well, I feel like almost it's like her body almost instinctually only knows to go back to that same thing that she did as a little girl when she literally like ran up to it essentially,
Yeah.
chasing her dad. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of a part of it too,
Yeah.
and then all that trauma response, but yeah, like, I also me too, I'm like, "You dumb bitch," because you know what? He pulls her back, and then she ends up facing the opposite direction anyways, not even looking at it anymore. She was
Yeah.
facing it, coming towards her, and then just kinda cuddles up down there, and then, it passes over them, and, yeah,
Sucks up the truck.
they somehow survive. It sucks up the truck, and the other guys are still driving, mind you, because I guess they were that far back, and they're like, "Oh my god, did you guys see? Are y'all okay? Did y'all see that?" And then I love how she's like, "Where's my truck?" And then it just falls out of the sky right in front of Melissa.
Yep, and Melissa
Poor Melissa.
dodges the truck.
Yeah,
And they're like,
barely.
yeah, barely. And then Dusty's like, "You see that? She missed the truck." And just going on about how she missed the truck and she's like freaking the fuck out, rightly
Yeah,
so.
she's in hysterics.
And then basically they're Joe's truck is upside down on the road and Jonas's team who is late to the party shows up and they don't stop to help them.
Yeah,
And
fucking
then
losers.
yeah, and then they are going and she's getting all of her shit out of the truck that she needs and is basically looking at Bill saying like, "Will we gonna use your truck now?"
Hmm.
And he's like, "Absolutely not." And then next scene they're driving in the truck.
I love how she's just
And
like, "Does it have insurance?" Right?
yeah, and
Something
he's
like
like,
that.
"Liability." And she's like,
Mhm.
"Liability?" And
Yeah. Gotta have
so
more than
then
that.
yeah, but then they get in the car and they're going after another storm. They've got Dorothy 2 locked and loaded, and it's kind of a big one. They say it's a
Mhm.
sidewinder. It's going to ship pass,
Yeah.
and it's possibly up to an F2, possibly an F2, or possibly an F3.
So we know
Up
it's
to
gonna
an
be
F2, possibly an F3.
pretty big and strong one. And that's whenever, they end up going to is this when they're cutting through the fields, right? Rabbit's telling him to go through the fields, and he's like, "Just go through here." No? No, that's later, my bad, because that's when they
Yeah, I
almost
think
hit
that's a
Jonas.
little bit
It's just in
later.
a just yeah, it's just a little bit up ahead, but yeah, this is whenever they're going through and they're talking about how it's the battle zone, no?
I think so, yeah, because then my next one note says, "Uh oh, a water spout, two of
Oh,
them."
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, but right before that is when we got the cows, though.
Yeah, and there's my next note after that is poor cow flying.
Yeah. And so then we have the 3 water spouts. Melissa's in the car this whole time. She's also taking phone calls from her client. I think the same client. And then that's whenever after all of that crap happening and then the water spouts, um, they didn't get a Dorothea, but they pull over on the side of the road on like a bridge thing. And that's whenever he's with Joe, like, really happy and excited, like, they're jumping up and down, trolling in circles, and then Melissa's over there in the truck once again, just kinda, like, freaked out, and she's
Yeah.
just like and then he's like, "Oh, crap, I gotta go over there and, like, console her."
Yeah, Melissa isn't cut out for it. And I said, me neither,
Mm-mm.
girl. I loved when she was on the phone with her
Client,
client,
patient. Uh-huh.
and she's like, I gotta go, Julia. We've got cows.
We got cows.
We got cows because the cows were just going moo in
What
front. And
cows?
then there's another one, and Bill's like, I think it's the same one. It's just getting whipped around.
Yeah, poor thing, if it
Yeah, I
is, but
know.
also if any cows or but, we have them, what then the gang catches up with them and they're talking to the gang, with the
Yeah,
crew, and they wanna
they're a bunch of teenagers because they're like, food, food,
that's right, they wanna
food,
go to
Aunt
Aunt
Meg's
Meg's 'cause
house.
they live they're close by.
Yeah, they're close to
Yeah.
Wakita,
Mhm.
which is where Aunt Meg lives. And so then the next scene is them pulling up to Aunt Meg's house, getting out
Mhm.
of the car. A big happy reunion comes. She's like, Bill, and so
Mhm.
excited to see him again, sees Joe. And then she goes in and she's making steak and eggs and
Mm.
mashed potatoes and lots of other things, like a big old like Thanksgiving dinner for him. She had rolls
Yeah.
or
Man, I
biscuits or
wanna go.
something. I know. I was like, the mashed potatoes look good. And then brown gravy, yum.
And
I
then
can't
we
even eat most brown gravies, but
Oh, yeah, 'cause of the meat.
mhm.
Um, and so we get this nice reunion moment, and we have them all kind of talking and catching up over dinner, and they're basically what just telling embarrassing stories. Bill to Melissa.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I like
Um.
I think it was Rabbit. He was like, if you're in a lightning storm, you got to grab your ankles so it can get hit in the booty hole. He didn't say booty hole, but and he said in your anus or something. And then
Uh-huh.
the girl was like, yeah, it's the most like likely to survive orifice or something. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, interesting.
Good to
I wonder
know.
if that's true facts.
Could have just
Grab your
been
ankles and put your booty hole in the air.
jokey, but it could be
Tickle.
true. It might
Well,
just tickle.
yeah, like when you get waxed, there's like no nerve endings in the hair follicles when you
Oh,
get waxed. So,
yeah.
like when you get your booty hole waxed, it doesn't hurt.
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
warm.
I'm sure it would feel good. No.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
you can't really feel it.
never mind. Never mind. But
Maybe for some.
anyways, only and then we get onto the subject of the F5 tornadoes, about the strength of the tornadoes. Um
Yeah.
and they're going on like, like she was asking what the ones that they just seen were, and then she's like, well, has
And it's called the
anybody's
Fajita scale.
yeah, a Fajita, which sounds a lot like something else.
Fajitas.
Vagina. Oh, my bad. And then
Vagina, fajita.
fajita, yeah.
Oh, I could go. I'm gonna text Andrew. Oh, damn it! I gotta go up to the store tonight. I was gonna say let's go get fajitas at Chewy's.
Ooh,
I
Mexican
just
food
get
is
grilled
always bomb.
veggies, grilled
Yeah.
veggies, and it's got corn in it.
Oh, I was about to say, wait a minute, you don't eat fajitas? How would you even eat fajitas? Yeah.
It's like peppers, onions, corn, sometimes like mushrooms, like zucchini
Mhm.
and stuff, and it's all grilled and prepared, like comes on the sizzling plate and stuff.
Like fajitas, but it's veggie.
Yep,
Ah,
and
that's
it's
cute.
delicious.
And like, you just eat it like that, or with like some tortilla, or
Yeah, I get some tortilla and then I get a little sour cream and the refried beans at Chewy's are vegan. So I eat those. And then uh I don't really put the rice on it too much
Mhm.
because then the taco's getting too big.
Oh, okay, yeah, 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 I get it.
I always do make my fajita tacos like way, way too big. I load them up and I can only eat two before I'm like tapping out.
How many can you make?
Uh, normally when I buy the fajitas at Chewy's, I get like 3 meals out of it.
That's great. That's good. Good for you.
So I
You're
think it
my
makes about 6 tacos.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, that's reasonable. If it's just veggies, I mean, honestly, It's not like they're losing out on just giving you extra veggies.
Yeah.
They're probably, like, literally in the back, they're like, "She needs more food. She only wants veggies. Give her more veggies. She needs to eat something."
She got bulk up.
Uh-huh. Um, and
Anyways,
so
back to the Vegeta scale.
Vegeta, yeah, and she's like, "Has anybody seen an F5?" And they're like, "Only one of us has." And then they all look up. Not really, but we're all, like, talking about Joe. Um,
Yeah,
and
they
I
just
think
kind
because
of
I
imply that it's Joe.
yeah, because she at this point had went to go take a shower, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because yeah, she kind of asks, like, they're like saying an F4 will relocate your house pretty efficiently. And then she asks if there's an F5 and if and what it's like. And he's like, the finger of God.
Mhm.
Um, and just one of them had seen it, and it was Joe as a kid. And then
That's crazy.
right as Joe gets back, or well, we got a little nice moment with Aunt Meg and Joe upstairs.
Yeah.
She's saying, "Doesn't matter what you put on, you're always going to be beautiful." Such an aunt thing to say.
Yeah.
Um, and she's talking to her about that, and then they're talking about like, "Well, Bill's here, isn't he? Like, maybe there is some hope," kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, it's go time yet again, and it's time to go chase another one. They've got so many storms right back to back.
One more time. That's what it's giving.
Eh,
Wow, 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 wow,
gonna
wow, wow.
celebrate.
That's literally the
Oh
only part
yeah,
I know. One more
nobody
time.
started dancing.
Oh,
Oh,
we got cows. We
we
got
got cow.
cows. Jazz is about to walk in. It's cool.
Okay, one more time.
And so we are going and they're taking off and they're cutting this is where they're cutting through the fields and Rabbit's telling him where to go. And I was also thinking like, how are they not getting stuck at any point through all these
Yeah, I know
like
because some of them were
farm.
driving like station wagons,
Oh yeah,
and
and I they weren't like roads, like they were just fields, like at
yeah,
that
they
point.
literally drove through. They cut through a cornfield right now,
Yeah, uh-huh.
and I'm like, corn corn stalks are they're pretty stocky. It's
Those
hard
are
to get through
thick.
'em.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
But they
imagine that would
do.
get caught up. Anyways, yeah, they make it through. He's put her with Dusty yet again,
Yeah.
Melissa, and
They're gonna be besties.
they're yeah, they're going down Route 33 now, and we finally seeing the tornado, and it's over
Mhm.
half a mile wide, and that thing is nasty looking, and it is heading right for them. It was black.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
the other tornadoes were like the other tornadoes were, kind of gray, like smoky color. This one was like pitch black. And
Yes.
it just, yeah, it looked like like the Dementor smoke that comes off of them?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
Which
looked like that.
I wonder, because obviously I'm like tornadoes are what they are from what they suck up, right? Like what color they are from what they suck up. So like, is that I wonder if that's like um the type of dirt or so much dirt that it's just black or
Oh,
the
yeah.
clouds mixed into it. Like I'm curious as to like why the
Why
color
all the
varies.
different colors, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because I've seen another movie where it's like I'm sure this doesn't really happen that often, but like there was another tornado movie, storm chaser movie where maybe you've seen it where a tornado had like b- b- blew up like I guess it was like an oil tank. It was kind of like how this one had like a gas tank thing,
Mm.
but instead of just like throwing it and blowing it, like the flames became part of the tornado.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because this one, when the gas, like, truck exploded, it had I think I have one of my notes is like, "Oh, shit, a fire tornado." Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It goes that okay, so I have that thing is nasty, and it's heading right for them, and then I put, "Oh, shit, a boat," because a boat came flying out at them, and then
yeah.
I put, "Fire tornado." It was so scary. Oh, could you imagine just a flaming tornado coming at you?
No, I'm
No,
okay.
thank you.
I
I
do
would
like a
die.
good thrill, but that seems a bit much.
Yeah, not only getting impaled by something, but then also getting burned alive.
At the same time. At the
Whoa,
same time. That's a lot of pain. My
that
threshold for
is.
pain is not that high, I feel like. So
No,
no.
not to be burned alive and impaled.
It's giving Olaf.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, look, I've been impaled.
I've been about and he also melts a few
He
times, so
does from fire,
yeah.
not from the sun,
Um,
which is fire.
they,
In the middle of summer.
are oh lord, I'm lost. Wait, where are we?
Well, we had the fire tornado,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then they basically, right as they get Dorothy out of the car, or it falls out of the car,
out of the truck,
and
yeah.
yeah, truck, and they are trying to like scoop up all the, or Joe is trying to scoop up all the
Joe.
sensors. Bill is like, get the fuck out of here,
Bill is
because
trying to use his reason because he knows that they're way too close, like, they're not safe.
yeah, and because it's a cone of silence, it's been back building, and he
Yeah.
was like, it's gonna drop right on us. And
I
then
love that part because she's like, "It's gonna drop around us." He's like, "Not around us, right on us."
yeah, and then she's like, I gotta do this, and then he says something like, and you can hear it on the radio too,
Oh,
and
yeah.
because he was like, just forget it, and I was like, bro, her dad died in one of these, she can't just forget it. And
Mhm.
then he's going on and he's saying, you got to look around, like, look at what's right in front of you. And then she was like, well, what is it? And he was like, me, Joe. And Melissa heard the whole thing, and I was like, oh.
Yikes. Awkward. And she never even tells him that she hears it, one, so that but that's just a lot of intel for her to know where he truly is, his heart is,
Yeah,
because he obviously is also still in love with Joe. And all of this interaction with her and like being back with her has brought all the feelings that I'm sure he's been like suppressing and ignoring because he's been hanging out with Melissa. And so yeah, I love how it's unfortunate and it sucks too because she's just hearing it and like Dusty's right next to her and I love how she's kind of looking at him like kind of like I don't even the look of like kind of embarrassed almost or
yeah.
like like she's like, well, this fucking sucks.
I'm just an afterthought here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
my note just says, poor Melissa.
Yeah.
And
She
now
looked
they've wasted,
heartbroken.
yeah, she did. And they've wasted two Dorothy's now.
They had
Um,
four to begin. We should have said that. They have four.
yeah, four to begin with. And now two Dorothy's have fallen over or not got sucked up, but didn't open and release because it wasn't primed and ready
Yeah.
because it got sucked up in the truck. But then we're at a drive-in movie theater and we've got The Shining playing. So it is a horror
Yeah,
movie after
it
all.
it is. I love how they have that in there, kind of playing homage, uh, to other horror movies and stuff, and then to, well, no, never mind. Wait, did Spielberg have anything to do with The Shining? Did he produce? Did he anything? Did he? No, because that's
No.
Kubrick.
Yeah, it's Kubrick.
So, hmm. Anyways, um, we have The Shining playing, and I love drive-in theaters. Those are so cool.
Yeah, until there's a real big tornado that's about to
Lit-
drop on you.
Literally, because they're at the drive-in. Everybody's kind of doing their own separate thing a little bit. And then this is whenever we have what Joe and Bill at the coffee place. They're trying to order coffee.
Yeah, Joe's just ordered 8 coffees and she's
Yeah.
also takes a pen to sign the divorce papers.
Oh yeah.
Um, but then Bill comes over and they're talking and says to him, Dorothy might be too light,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and
Hmm.
that they need to make her heavier and make the sensors so they don't just get thrown out from the tornado.
Hmm.
And then my
We cut
next
some of
note
us.
just says one is possibly forming over them right now.
Oh yeah. because and Melissa's in the motel room, so there's a news thing going on that's kind of flickering in and out. She can tell that she's considering leaving because she's like playing around with the ring on her finger. And then while Bill and Joe are over there getting coffee, they can see that the TV screen is going in and out.
Yeah. And then
The
that's when they're like,
broadcasts.
yeah, it's going to staticky. And
And
that's
then
when they're like, oh shit.
and then what's his face? One of their crew members is like, "It's coming right for us." Is it Dusty?
Yeah, I think it was Dusty.
Yeah, it's Dusty. Yeah, coming right for us. So they have to act quickly. Bill goes to get Melissa, who's now like running out of her hotel room because she's been noticing what's been going on as well. And we have
Yeah, now
Joe just
she's an
kind of
expert.
yeah, and then we have Joe just hypnotized but and Bill right now a little bit by what the storm growing around them. And then as they start to run, you can see that the tornado starts to rip through the big old cinema screen.
Yeah, and I love how it destroys the screen as he's destroying the door in
Yeah,
The Shining.
it's pretty cool. Here's
Yeah.
Johnny.
Here's Johnny. Um, yeah, she's just looking at it like a fucking like a psychopath, just
Yeah,
in awe. And I was like, oh, girl,
we need to
we need to get
go.
you out.
Yeah.
But then they're all hiding under kind of what was it, like a car shop or something?
It's a car shop, and like the little pit underneath the car shop where they can change the oil and stuff and go
Yeah.
underneath.
So that's where they were.
That's what I feel like it was. Yes.
Okay, yeah. They were down in this little pit, but then the tornado's big. It's an F4,
I want to say it
right?
was an F4, yeah, and then it grew into an F5 by the time it got to or it was still an F4 at this point. I think it's still an F4 when it hits Wakita.
Yeah, yeah, that was an
And then
F4.
it grows into an F5 by the end of the film. It's the same tornado.
And it
Um,
is the same tornado?
yeah, I'm pretty I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it
Oh.
was the same one that was the same storm cell. I mean, maybe I'm sure it like
Oh, yeah, it
at
came back up,
times, but
but
it's the same massive storm. So that's why it was like
okay.
that's why because it ended up merging with that other storm at some point and it
Yeah,
like
that the
made
NSSL was talking about.
the Huda Hada. But
Um, but yeah, they're down there and the building is getting destroyed and hubcaps are flying around. One hubcap comes around, slices homeboy's head right open.
mhm.
Doesn't kill him though, I don't
Poor
think.
guy.
But he did get a nice surface wound right across his forehead, probably going to leave a scar.
Yeah.
They're putting pressure on him, and then cars start getting lifted up and thrown onto them, and the movie sign, like the big movie theater sign, crashes
Mhm.
down and comes into the room, and it just fucks that area up, all except for the little diner where they ordered the coffee. That place looked
Right?
remarkably fine.
But it really
I
did
was like,
fuck
they would have
everything
been
else
better
up.
staying there.
It really said, you know what, guys, you were due for this, and I'm taking taxes and I'm collecting interest.
Yep.
Um, it really came for them. Unfortunately, or fortunately, everybody survived, and they are
Hmm.
all kind of getting out. The police show up. They're kind of looking around at the damage, all kind of surprised and obviously a bit shook. Um,
And
and
apparently it just sideswept him. Like
oh yeah,
that wasn't even the real tornado, like the core of the tornado that hit them is what they said. And I was like,
hmm
well, it
and
basically
Melissa's like
flattened that
shocked.
area. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then this is where we figure out Wakita's about to get hit and uh, Aunt
they
Meg.
gotta
We got a
go.
little flash of Aunt Meg earlier noticing that stuff was going wrong.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, we
and
see that it's about to hit Wakita. So I was like, oh no, not Aunt Meg. I forgot that she lives. I thought she died. And so I was like,
mhm.
no, not Aunt Meg.
They
But I
the r
forgot she gets out. So,
yeah, she makes it. She's the
but
final
I
girl.
was real sad at first.
Miss Meg is the final girl. But yeah, and Bill is gonna go tell Melissa like, "Hey, you wait here. I'm gonna go and make sure that Meg's okay." And Melissa's like, "You know what? I won't be here when you come back, essentially, because I can tell that you're in love with Joe. and you know what? She needs you more. She needs you right now. And don't worry about me because I never had a problem finding my way back home.
Yeah, and then she says, "And you know what? I'm not even that upset."
So what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Hmm. It means oh, and I love how she even said like we both knew it would have ended sooner or later.
Yeah, I was like, "Damn,
Uh-huh. For real.
you
So
said yes to marrying this person."
uh so yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, she just turns I love how she just turns around and I'm just like I'm legit like, how in the hell are you gonna get home? Like you have
You
no
don't have a
car.
car.
You don't have no like this is not Uber days, like this is 96, like, but I guess she'll find a way. And so then we have them leaving to go to Wakita and they end up getting there, but by the time they get there, it's too late and it is fucked.
It is fuck. That's exactly what my notes say. Um,
Mine
we're
too.
driving through the rubble,
Mhm.
and Joe sees herself in that little family that's sitting in the rubble. Like it was a dad, a mom, and a little blonde girl. And I think she saw herself in that little girl. Um,
Yeah.
and then they finally make it to Aunt Meg's house, and it's like destroyed and caving in on itself. And they
Mhm.
rush in to find her, and they're searching for Meg. And then thankfully, Mose, the doggy, says, bark, bark, and it signals them as to where Aunt Meg is. And so they're
Yeah, because
able to
poor
go down
thing
there.
is Miss Meg. She's been through it, and she just done fell through this whole house all the way to the very bottom.
Yeah, and because she said she didn't even have a chance to get downstairs, but she was
Yeah,
at, like, the base.
literally.
And so she's fallen through, and she has, like, a building, like, a wall, mm, joints on her
Mhm.
that is, like, crushed her.
Mhm.
Um, she's been crushed by all the rubble, and her head is bleeding pretty badly. But they thankfully are able to find her, get the rubble off of her, and then they get her out of the house. And then she's like, "Bill, would you get Mose for me? I think he's a little shaken up." And so then he goes back in, gets Mose, and not as soon, like, not before he steps off of that little roof thing, does the house come crashing
Crashing down.
down. Yeah,
I'll
he barely made
very
it out.
very Monster House.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen Monster House?
Yeah. That's the
Yeah, it
one with
reminded
the
me.
uvula, right?
Yeah, and the house is like it's a cartoon, but like the house is
Yeah.
alive, and then and then it at the very end like crashes in on
Oh,
itself.
like,
That's what I remember.
or Carrie.
Oh yeah, very much like that too. Same vibes. But
Mhm.
yeah, we are very much in that same boat here.
I
Um,
love when they get her into the ambulance, and she's like, "Oh, I don't need to go in no ambulance." She goes, "I'm gonna drive myself." And the one of the EMTs just goes, "Honey, your tree's in a car around the corner, or
your
your
tree's in a
car's
car. Your
your car's
tree's in
in
a
a tree.
car. Your tree's in a car. Put it on a shirt.
Your
Honey,
tree's in
your
a
tree's in
car,
a car. No, you with the honey. Honey,
honey."
your tree's in a car.
That's exactly what I wrote it wrong in my notes. Your car's
Honey.
in a tree around the corner.
Uh, oh, that's funny. But yes, and she's just like, just leans back and it's all right, just lets them do their thing. But yeah, it's just kind of hitting close to home. And then we have Bill and Joe looking, or Joe, I think is the one. Is she the one who comes up with it first? She's like, I think I have an idea on how to make Dorothy fly.
Yeah, because she looks at,
The windmills, the
the
wind things.
windmills, and yeah, we also see that. So it was a F4 that hit Wakita, and then the
Hmm.
NSSL is predicting that it's an F5, and it's the strongest in 30 years that's possibly forming. Um,
Yeah.
and Aunt Meg thankfully made it out with just a bump on the head and maybe a broken wrist. And so she made it out okay. But then she's sitting there looking at the windmill thing, little, yeah,
Hmm.
kind of windmill esque wind chime looking thing. And she gets the idea for Dorothy by looking at it. And she goes, I know how to make Dorothy fly. And so then she's like, we're going to need tin cans and scissors and a bunch of like glue or something. I don't
Mhm.
remember exactly what she says, but the car revving its engine.
Oh, yeah. But yes, and,
They start giving Dorothy wings.
they start there's like a montage essentially. Little montage of them prepping and cutting out all the little soda cans and giving her wings so that she can fly.
Red
And
Bull gives you
then
wings.
Red Bull. And then at this point, this is whenever we go to chase the which also they did all that very quick.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
When I
moving.
think
This
about
movie's moving fast along now.
now that I think about it, yeah. And so then they end up going to go uh chase the tornado.
Yep. And they are going along, and that thing is thick with three C's.
Thickums. Thickums.
That motherfucker was big.
That
And
motherfucker back there is not real.
motherfucker, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, this is really scary. One of those dark and mile wide storms, tornadoes. I can't think
Yep.
of the word. Tornadoes.
They were
Yeah.
saying and then they're loading up all the Dorothy's and they're planning to leave them in the middle of the path for the tornado. Um, but then as they're driving along, they unload Dorothy and they get her in the pathway. But unfortunately, a whole tree
Yeah.
comes out and then it like impales Dorothy, knocking her over. And then the same tree ends up, they're like all kind of spun around and they're trying to go
Hmm.
and get away, but this tree gets up underneath the truck and stuck on it. So they're stuck on this tree. And then this is where the fucking 18 wheeler
Hmm.
like is coming for them. And I was like, and it's a gas one. It said petroleum on it or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this motherfucker's going to explode.
And sure enough, what does it do? Well, one, thankfully, because they're trying to back up and get out of the way, it ends up nudging them just a little bit for them to get loose off the tree and drive off. But it also goes back into the air a little bit more and then gets dropped back down and then explodes right next to them.
Yep. And it's real scary. Um,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
then they're basically unloading the last Dorothy now. And we just got news that the base is a mile wide of this tornado.
mhm.
And they're going to un they're going to unload it, but they're driving along and then they realize Jonas is there too, driving along an opposite road. And they're trying to warn him. And they're saying, hey, this tornado is going to shift and
Yeah.
it's going to be heading right for you. Like, you need to get off this path right now. And because you're going to die. And then
Mhm.
they aren't listening.
Yep,
And
they don't.
so,
And then Jonas is or Bill's even trying to talk to Andy, I think that was his name. His
mm,
driver. I think I caught it. It was Andy. And trying to be like, "Hey, like I know you're in there, like whatever you do, like listen to me." And then he's even like telling Jonas like, "Hey, I really don't think he would try to put us in harm's way." And Jonas is a dick and is just like, "I don't pay you to like give me your opinion. I pay you to drive. So drive." Um
yeah, it was real
and
rude. And
yeah, and
fucking
then
Andy gets the worst of it.
literally gets impaled by one of those triangle metal things.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are, what are those used for, Caitlin?
I don't know. Like,
Mm,
uh,
why?
um, maybe like around like a energy pole. What are those called?
Mm,
Like electrical pole.
I don't know, but that seems right. Yeah. And I think people, you guys imagine those triangle looking things that are metal and they have like bars, they're long and they go upright and you drive past them on a highway and they're part of those little power plant looking things with the white rocks and sand.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Um
he gets impaled by it, and then they get picked up, they get sucked right up, and then they get dropped from a high altitude, so then the car just explodes.
Which is sad,
And
and his whole film crew is watching and everything.
and then this is where I was like, this yeah, I know. They were all watching and just like,
Mhm.
oh shit. Um but this is where I was like, this thing sounds like it's growling. And one of my fun facts is that they took a camel's moan
Mm, mhm.
and slowed it down, and that was
Like a
what was
sexual moan?
used as the sound of tornado. No.
And they use it as the sound of the tornado?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Camel moan, though. I wonder why they settled on the camel's moan. That's
I don't
interesting.
know.
Yeah.
But that's what they did, and that's what made the sound, because it sounded like it was growling, like
Mhm.
grrr. It was real creepy. Um, but then we've got Bill and Joe going, "Fuck, we told him so," and
Mhm.
he was like, "God
They
damn
really
it!"
did.
And Joe was like, "We tried all that we could, like it's not our fault," kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then they're driving along, and then this fucking house just on its side
Rolls out
rolls
of nowhere.
right onto the road, and he's like, "I guess we're going in."
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so then they drive right through this house, go up the stairs. That was really cool when they were like,
Yeah.
and then they bust through the other side. And this is where you thought it looked a little fake.
I thought it did, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just me. Mhm. Just when they
Um,
bust out,
I
but
would need to watch it
obviously
closer. I think I was in the middle of writing my note.
mm,
Like I saw
mhm.
them bust through, but I think my eyes like
They were already
floated
through.
up there. Yeah.
I mean, it was the moment when they're actually coming out of the house, like that, like,
Mm.
quick 2.5-second moment. Yeah, it just looks really fake.
And then this is where they're like, maybe we should get off this road. And I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, maybe we
Maybe you
should just
should.
that fucking a long time ago.
Get away from it. And then but
Yeah.
they're heading directly for it. And this I put, oh my god, I'm nauseous for them. Like I was like, this is so scary. Like just
Yeah.
heading into a mile wide tornado. Ugh,
Just a typical Tuesday.
so scary.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
yeah. Are you just talking silently?
No, I was yelling at them. I pushed mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so we
It's like
are
you were just
like
yeah, that's what I thought
that.
you were
No,
doing.
no, I was yelling at them. Sometimes I have to raise my voice a little bit so they know I mean business. And look, they're all doing it. They all
Now they're
put their ears
laying
back
down.
and because like didn't nobody tell y'all to bark? Thank y'all for alerting me that nobody is breaking into the house. Anyways, and the times that they should be barking, they don't bark. Anyways, so yeah, they're oh yeah, now they're gonna send in the fucking truck to into the tornado because they're realizing that the only way that they can get Dorothy to really get in there is to be grounded by the truck and then well, I don't know, driven
Letting
in.
it get sucked in, yeah. They're sending the truck up and they're jumping out. He's like, "Let me turn the cruise control on." So they turn the
Hmm.
cruise control on, they jump out into the cornfield, and they just send that thing up, and then they fly up like little magical fairy lights. It was
They
like,
do.
"Ooh, so
The really
pretty."
really happy moment for everybody and everybody's like, "Oh my god, woo, it worked." But then real quickly as they're getting information in, one of the team members is like, "Ay, yay, ga, 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 Gordon." And then that's gonna turn left. You
It's
guys got to get
shifting.
out of there.
But they can't hear him, of course, because they just sent the truck in.
Yeah.
And that everyone's
They just I'm sorry, you go for it. Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say like it's really Bill and Joe, and they're there, and they're like, "Oh, frick!" They're like, "It's
Yeah, they
shifting." Uh-huh.
realized real quick because they were all celebrating because Dorothy was flying. Like they almost kissed and stuff,
Hmm.
and then it's real short lived because yeah, they're like, "Oh fuck," um, and then so they start running as fast as they can, They're heading past this barn. There's like a little pony there, and I was like, "Not the pony."
Poor
Um,
ponies, but they end up getting free.
they do, and they're
Mhm.
safe. We see them running around at the end. Um, but they're heading for a barn, and they almost get impaled with fence posts, and then they end up
Yeah.
running into a room filled with scythes and other sharp
Yeah,
objects that I was
and they're
like,
like, "What kind of people are these?"
yeah, I was like, "This Texas Chainsaw Massacre."
Yeah, it was pretty dangerous in there. I would not want to be in there while a tornado's going on by any means.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
so they leave that barn, then they
Mhm.
almost get taken out by that barn because
Again, yeah, by the
that
actual walls.
the walls, yeah, start, like, flying at them, and then
Jesus.
sorry, my mom is texting me too.
It's okay.
Because my mom and dad have both called me, and then my brain was all of a sudden like, "Is
Scrambled for a
something
second.
bad happening?"
Yeah.
But my mom just said they got a whole bunch of vegetarian freezer items clearance price.
Good. That's a win. It's a win for the vegetarians. And so they're running, they're trying to get away from this barn that's getting thrown at them and all the other debris that's getting flung around by the tornado. And they end up making it close to, oh, after dying like almost 10 times. They, because there's also like a tractor with like those type of tractors that have the lawnmower thing, but it's like round and
Yeah, I
barrely.
didn't know what to call it.
I didn't either, but it almost literally takes them out, and if that would've hit them, they would have been dead, like, on contact, because of how heavy those things are and how fast it was getting thrown by the wind, but they end up making it to a shed that has, like, water pipes in it, a water line, and Bill was like, "We need to tie ourselves to these because they go, like, 30, 40 feet into the ground." So, they end up getting able to tie the, like, almost like fireman type of hose around themselves and around the pole, the pipe, and they are, yeah, they're hanging on for dear life because the tornado does come by, starts to suck around them and all up in them. They're in the suck zone, and they get in what would like to call like the eye of the tornado. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
we call it the eye. Yeah, they're in
or
there,
that's at
and
least what it is for hurricanes.
yeah, and they are having a moment, because it's, like, quite peaceful and cool and beautiful in there, and then they're like, "Oh, cool," and then it
Yeah,
passes.
they're, like, up flying upside down and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and somehow not getting stabbed to death
Not at
again.
all, not one bit. Mm-mm.
But and then it's in the eye, there's another tornado inside of it,
In the
like a
little
little tiny
doo-doo-doo-doo.
tornado, yeah, inside the middle
Uh-huh.
one, um,
Yeah.
which was crazy. But it loses steam and then dissipates, and they make it through, and they're like,
See,
"Whoa, didn't take the house."
yeah, they're like, "Ay, ay, ay," and then that's whenever, we have, uh, the rest of the crew coming up, the gang. The gang's all here.
Gang's all here.
They're all celebrating because they obviously got to launch Dorothy and they're collecting all this data already. And the Bill and Joe are still tied to the poles and they're having kind of like this little intimate moment, like, oh, and then they end up kissing.
Yeah, because they were arguing over who was gonna run the lab and stuff and
Yeah.
bickering, and then they were like, "Do you always gotta do things the hard way?" And then they were like the crew rolls up and they were like, "Look at the sky."
Yeah.
And they were like, "I think we've seen enough."
Face
And they start making
swap,
out.
saliva swap. I don't think they're gonna last.
Yeah, probably not. It was a really turbulent relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Um,
anyways, that
Lots of
is the
passion. But yeah,
that
then we
is
just zoom out with triumphant music playing. And everything
triumphant
was
music.
flattened, and this is where it looked like the slug trail, the
Oh,
little
yeah, yeah,
slime
yeah.
trail, where everything was flattened except the house, and then the ground is just fucked for a mile wide. And I was like, "So scary."
Mhm. Terrifying. A true horror movie of 2024 via 1996.
Well, we are getting twisters coming out.
We are, so we kinda happened to cover this right at the perfect time.
We did. I know. I was telling the guy who is making our sign for Love Lady today.
Yeah.
that we were covering, and he was like, "Oh, the new one?" And I was like, "No, the original." But it is kind of in regards to the new one too, because it's about to
Yeah.
come out.
I would watch it.
I would watch it too. I love Twister.
Mhm.
I've watched this film probably 7 or 8 times in my life.
I've
Like,
seen this movie probably, like, over 20 times.
yeah, I've seen it a lot.
Mhm. We owned it on DVD and VHS, I think, growing up, so
Yeah, we owned it as well, which
and
is why I think we watched it a lot too.
it always came on, like this is the type of movie that would come on, like, TNT, like, TBS, like
Mhm,
like, you
mhm.
catch it on TV and you're while your channel flipping, and then you're like, "Oh, I'll watch this,"
Might as well
until the
watch this.
until the next commercial.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good movie.
it is, and I think I'm ready to give it a rating.
Yes, how much?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah. A 4.5. I think that it is a pretty solid story. I like how that we get like a little bit of sci-fi and science and weather drama and action mixed with the kind of really, like I said, really dramatic story of like the whole love triangle thing happening and going on between Joe, Bill, and Melissa.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, growing up too, has a lot of nostalgia for me because, like I said, all of that stuff that happened with the storms that we've had here, and how I felt about weather and storms and tornadoes, and um, more in terms of the film, everybody's acting was pretty good. I thought that everybody's characters seemed like pretty um, even like the side characters that we got little bits and pieces of, even though some of them I don't remember their name. The only ones I remember, like you said, were Rabbit and uh,
Dusty.
Dusty. Everybody's character, even like the way they looked, though, like I just got whoever you'd get who everybody was
Yeah.
essentially, and they're part of the team. Um, I thought it did good of like being able to captivate us on a visual level, but also even like the side drama that was happening with Jonas and all that. And then ultimately, having kind of that character where that's an asshole and then like we get the payoff of him dying. not, not that like dying, people dying in school, but you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like everything is well knit together, and it does a good job of not kind of doing also too much. I feel like it could have maybe gotten out of hand, um, because there are a lot of elements actually in this movie. You got the love triangle, you got the beef between him and Jonas, you got them also trying to deploy this new weather anomaly system to get, you know, a better emergency warning system, which is also linked to the trauma that Joe has. So this movie is also about childhood trauma. Like there's literally so many different aspects to it. So I feel like it's because it has so many layers to it. I really liked it for that reason. So that's why I would give it 4.5.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I I agree. I think
You don't
well, let
have
me tell
to.
you my fun facts real fast.
Yeah.
Because they're actually really good fun facts in my opinion today. Um funny.
Easy. Mhm.
Not this for okay, I'm going to read this one first because
Okay.
the other one was not funny, but this one was funny. With a very loud and bass heavy surround channel, this film was notorious for destroying surround speakers in theaters worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, poor theaters.
I know. That must have been so expensive. Um
Yeah.
after this is the first one technically on the list, and this one is not funny. This one
Okay.
is touching. After Bill Paxton died in 2017, Spotter Network choreographed 200 storm chasers to spell out BP with their GPS tracker blips on a radar display to honor him. This kind of
Hmm.
tribute has only been done 5 times before, and it was the first time it had been done for someone who wasn't a storm chaser.
That's cool. They
So,
must
because
really
of,
regard the movie and him highly for playing that.
yeah,
That's
uh,
I didn't realize. I knew he died, but I didn't realize it had already been since like 2017.
well,
That's
that
crazy.
feels like yesterday. but also
Yeah, but
simultaneously, like, years ago.
no, I mean that's that it. It's 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. 7 years ago? No. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20. Oh,
You
dang,
got it right.
Caitlin.
You're so
I
smart.
got it right. Oh my god, but that is so long ago. That's crazy. RIP. Mm.
Filming in Oklahoma was briefly delayed due to the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City on April 19th, 1995. Many of the crew went to on site to help with the recovery efforts.
Oh wow.
And
That's cool
then
of them.
I know that is really sweet. Um, The production bought 8 blocks of houses in the old downtown area of the real town of Wakita, Oklahoma for $7,000 to $10,000 per house. These houses and an additional 30 homes built by the production were subsequently demolished by the film's crew for the scenes after the twister passes. The
Mm.
town later rebuilt the downtown area and also kept the new fire truck used in the film.
That's cool.
Yeah, except for that sucks that they
Demolish them.
demolished old downtown Wakita.
That's true. But what if it wasn't even like up kept and it
Habitable.
would yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
could have done them a favor. But also I know nothing about that and I should not qualified, so I won't say anymore. Give me another fact.
Oh, that was all of them.
That was all of them. Oh,
Well,
okay.
there's 50 more. I can read
Oh,
more if you'd like.
no, if those were like the most like kind of interesting, if you thought.
This was the first movie released on DVD and the last released on HD DVD.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I wonder how they claim that. Both of those. But yeah, first one to be released on DVD. That's pretty
Yeah, that's
cool.
according to it, which is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool claim to
Um,
fame.
yeah. So
Well, that's good.
I think I would personally give this film. mm, I'm tempted to give it a 5.
Give it a 5.
Yeah, I've got lots of nostalgia tied around this film.
Oh.
I grew up watching it. Like I said, I've driven over, like I've been to some of the places in
Hmm.
Oklahoma where this happened, and remember like my parents pointing out, like, oh, this was the bridge in Twister, or like they filmed part of Twister here,
That's
and
cool.
remember thinking that was really cool. And I watched it, when I was pretty young and stuff,
Yeah.
and it
It
put
leaves
a
an
healthy
impression.
dose of fear in me of tornadoes. So this movie actually really does scare me because I am terrified of tornadoes. There's few things in this world that like actually scare me, but tornadoes, I like cry during them.
Mm.
Like, or anytime sirens start going off, I'm like, no.
What's happening?
Yeah. And so I freak out really badly. So this movie is it's genuinely terrifying to me. So, and I think that's the whole point of our boo system rating, is like, how good did this movie scare you too? And this
Mm-hmm.
movie does scare me. And like you said, the all the acting was great. Helen Hunt did a phenomenal job. And then Bill Paxton did as well. Like, even like Carrie Ills, or however you say his name. I'm gonna call him
Jonas,
Carrie
yeah.
Ew. Um,
Ew.
he he's got such a wide variety of characters that he can play, and he made me hate him in this film. Like,
Yeah.
and while he plays such lovable people in other films, and so like to see his range and stuff, that was really cool. Um, I thought all the special and practical effects looked really good. Like, I don't know if they actually really chased storms, because these
Hmm.
tornadoes didn't look fake.
Yeah.
They looked
I don't
real.
know. Mm,
They couldn't have
maybe
possibly put
I don't
them
think
in
they
that
would put
much
people in
danger.
danger. I'm sure
Well,
they're
they did a
fake,
good job
but
of faking them.
they could have mixed like real thunderstorms with them imposing like a tornado in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whatever they did, it looked good. The only
Like,
part that I had a qualm with was that the satellite. It looked like it
oh
was made of
yeah,
clay or
that
something.
looked fake at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked real bad. But
Mm.
yeah, I think overall I would give this film a 5. Just purely nostalgia, and the storyline was great. I did enjoy the love triangle as well. I feel so bad for Melissa. She really got fucked over in this. First off, she
Yeah,
got the trauma of having to sit through multiple tornadoes,
literally
not willingly.
for nothing.
Yeah, and just to have to leave him because he's making eyes at his ex-wife.
Ugh, that sentence within itself, honestly, though.
It's so sad. But yeah, I I think this is a great film. You should watch it. I hope Twisters lives up to the how good this film is, because this film is honestly one of my like favorite childhood films. Like I
Mhm.
really enjoyed watching this growing up, and it did scare the shit out of me. Now, is all of it believable? Like, do I think that that leather belt looking thing would have actually held them on that pipe
Oh,
without like splitting
huh. Maybe not.
during like 200-mile-an-hour winds?
And leather in the heat, doesn't it lose its integrity?
Yeah.
And that thing's been outside in the hot sun and stuff, doing stuff.
Yeah, so it could have
Yeah.
been real brittle and stuff.
Mhm.
So, do I think that's necessarily believable? No, but it's okay. Movie magic. We
Movie
love it.
magic.
Movie magic. And yeah, so a 4.5 and a 5 from your Boobaes for this weather horror thriller film.
Sci-fi.
Action. Sci-fi. Yeah, we're doing this
Mhm.
in our month of sci-fi. So,
Eureka. So,
Eureka
who
for
knows what
Twister.
our next movie will be, but we will let you know.
Suki,
We'll find out.
please stop that. Suki's like scratching the wall and it sounds like nails on chalkboard.
Poor baby. She wants to break free. Why do you have her
Well,
chained to the confines of your room?
she's got
Let her
2-bedroom house to
outside.
run around.
Let her outside. She wants to go
She would not
outside.
survive.
She wants
Yams would
to
probably survive, but Suki
she
Suki's a
wants to
little baby.
pounce. She wants to pounce.
You come here. She actually did come here.
Oh, she's a sweeties.
Yeah, she's a good girl. But okay. Yeah, 4.5 and a 5, so it makes it a 4.75
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah.
from your Boobaes for
Mm-hmm.
1996's Twister.
We still just came out when we were 2 years old.
Yep, little babies.
Oh, it came out. No, I wasn't even. I was a year and 11 months and whatever days, 31 days, because it came out on May 10th.
Oh,
Or not a year. I was 11 months. I can't count. I'm dumb. My bad, you guys. I'm not dumb. I'm just important and kind and strong and smart. There we go. That one.
you
But
are.
yeah.
I was 2 years
Right?
old,
Yeah, you were. I
right?
was 11. Yeah, because your birthday's in January.
Mhm.
No, you were 2. No, yes, you were 2. Yeah, 'cause it's 96.
Yeah,
My
you
bad.
would have been a year and 11 months old.
Oh, okay, I'm right. Okay.
Yeah, if it was 95, you would have been 11 months old.
Can't think. Can't do
Stop
math
it.
at the end of the
Stop.
podcast.
Stop.
Well, you guys, like always, we're being recorded by the lovely Rogue Media Network Studios. They take good care of us. And as always, you can listen to our podcast and a slew of other podcasts on their website, which is roguemedianetwork.com. Yes. And you can listen to us on any streaming
Sorry.
podcast service. Sorry, it took me a second to kind of put that together. When you could do that on
Suki's
Apple.
or Spotify. Suki's
Uh-huh.
clawing my peacock chair.
Oh no, she can't
So
do
I was
that.
trying to find something to throw at her.
You have to push mute and yell at her like I do with the doggos.
I don't know how to mute it.
Isn't yours like mine? Do we not have the same one? This one?
We do. Do I just press the button? Oh, and that mutes it?
And then
Oh.
when it's green, it's good. Yeah, you couldn't hear me saying you can't hear me when it's red. But
You couldn't hear me say hello. Okay. Well,
yeah.
sorry I yelled at her on camera and on microphone. But yes, you can find us on Spotify or Apple, but wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right, because that is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And tell your friends, tell everybody. It's a good time. And then get ready to watch Twisters too. And then let us know if Twister scares you as well. And you can do so on our one social media platform, which is Instagram, and that is at
at Boobaes Podcast, and that's at BOOBAES, because we're your Boobaes, not your Boobabes.
That's right. And who knows what we're covering next time? We don't.
We don't. We'll figure it out. And
But
then
we'll figure it out.
oh, I was gonna say something, but then I forgot. I
Oh
don't
no.
remember. It's okay. Next time. And until then,
Bye, bays.
bye, babe.
Boobaes!
Boobaes!
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.